Hola, welcome back. We're reporting here from the Selenium Conference 2025 here in Valencia, or Valencia, like we say in Mexico. And I'm super happy to be here now with another keynote speaker. It's a keynote speaker. It was yesterday, right?
It was yesterday, yes.
Yesterday, she blasted the stage, and I am dying to talk about that, to figure out how was the adventure. But before, we have today.
Leandro, good morning. Hi, Maaret.
And you're?
Well, my name is Joaquin, and I'm part of the podcast Más allá del back, in English, more or less Beyond the Back. And well, really excited to be here again with you, Leandro, and of course with our brilliant
Guest of honor.
guest. She's one of the persons that has influenced me the most in my career. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, I could tell he was excited a moment ago that we were starting to talk.
I will.
And so now, to make it more dramatic, with us is Maaret. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. I won't try your last name because I know I'm gonna mess it up. How do you say your name right?
Maaret Pyhäjärvi.
Maaret Pyhäjärvi. Did I get it? Oh, the first try. Okay. It went well. Yeah, reading it, I wouldn't have guessed. Pyhäjärvi.
Pyhäjärvi.
Pyhäjärvi. Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's too complicated.
I have to keep trying, but anyway, you can call my last name as well, whatever you want. It's a weird one, but Maaret, first of all, as an introduction for the people that do not know you, would you mind sharing who you are? What do you do? What makes you special?
Wow, does something make anyone special? I sometimes wonder. I've been doing testing for 28 years.
Oh my God.
28 years, new job now for 10 months. So right now I'm a director of testing services at CGI. But kind of like my career overall is I've been trying to figure out what testing looks like in different companies and how do we make it work better. So that's kind of what I do.
Uh-huh. And as well, on top of that, community-wise, what other endeavors and things are you? Because you're not just a tester, right?
Well, nobody's just a tester. That's kind of how I feel about it in many ways. Well, I'm here now in Selenium conference because I'm a volunteer for the Selenium project leadership committee there. I do work with new speakers. I run a thing called Tech Voices, where we help new speakers get started. I have a couple of non-profits that I help with in Finland, so a lot of that space. And I've been doing community work in testing space for like 20-something years about. So, trying to connect with people.
It's been quite a track, and you got me really curious. How is this help and support that you do to new speakers? How do you? I'm very curious because the
Yeah,
people.
and Fiona Charles originally started a thing called Tech Voices, or actually it was called Speakeasy at first. We renamed it Tech Voices when we got a takedown request for someone who had trademark. We had a trademark in Australia, but we didn't have it everywhere. In America and Australia, you don't want to get into that. But again, that stuff is kind of my specialty nowadays. I've been working through different kinds of communities, but for Speakeasy or Tech Voices, we basically assign a mentor for a new speaker. I even found here in this conference, I found one person who was telling me that, I seem like on the stage as if I've been there before. I was like, do you want to do that too? And yes, absolutely. So we connected and we'll have a call in the next couple of weeks. And there's going to be a new younger speaker because we are getting way old in the
Yeah. We're not there and getting constantly new blood. You just made me remember my first conference. I saw Mike Lyles. I don't know if you have met him. He was giving the keynote. And just like you said it, I got after he got off the stage, right? Not at the keynote. And I was like, what? I want to be like you. I want to be on that stage in a keynote. What do I have to do? It was similar, very kind, and said like, yeah, you can talk to this, you can do. He sat with me for a while, giving me some tips, what should be done. And sounds like it's pretty much the efforts that you have been conducting and helping people like that, right?
Yeah, it's like that, definitely. And we've had some keynote speakers that we've introduced, so kind of like more already experienced speakers who do regular talks, but we have had like collaboration with conferences, so we introduce them. Find note speakers, but most of it is finding new.
No, and that's an incredible help, because when someone is starting, it's like, what do I do? I have the itch. When they come and ask, is meaning, yeah, there's the interest. Not like some other speakers that I know that, like, yeah, you go to talk and that's how they start, right? And
We have here two people that want to have the first conference, so maybe
they can get
you
some
have
tips.
you have to write the tips that Maaret is going to give you.
Audio?
No, I don't hear you.
Okay,
We'll speak later. Don't worry.
they're not paying attention. Yeah. But yeah, he's compromising the camera people to get some into speaking. And Maaret, I'm sure that you'll have some awesome tips, some help, and ways to contribute. And if you're watching as well, pay attention. You may be able to reach out and get some help. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Too
No,
much.
it's okay. Just reach out and we'll figure it out from there.
Excellent. And now, I know that there are so many questions that you ask around, but I want to get out of the way first that you gave a keynote yesterday. And no spoiler, the keynote has been presented. So do you mind talking about it? What was it about? What was the title?
It was called State of Union for Selenium and Appium. It wasn't really my keynote. It was the three of us, and it was a keynote of what the union, what Selenium and Appium look like right now.
What's new, right?
Being a volunteer in the project, sometimes you end up getting on that stage and talking about the project or whatever goes around it, and just setting the frame for the conference like this one.
Do you mind sharing some of those points that were talked about? You mentioned that you had something not so scripted, that you freestyled it. What were you sharing?
So I took a very small part actually of the entire keynote. I kind of like wanted to just set the stage on the idea that why we're together with Appium. Like we've been friends project-wise for quite some time, and again, bringing the user base together in that sense. Like, well, we had common users. That was kind of what I was into. I made the audience do a what is it called? Basically, getting that.
You made them wake up a little bit, at least.
Try to wake them up a little bit. So it's a lot more about setting the stage, but also kind of reminding that Selenium, even though it's definitely a tool that you can take and you can install it and you can run it, it's also kind of a community and an effort where we do everything standards based. In the sense that I kind of think that Playwright is becoming Selenium by having a pull request where they take the Selenium, the WebDriver BiDi things in, and Cypress definitely has already taken the steps and merged those changes. So in a way, kind of like Selenium is it's not just the thing that you first think of that you install, but it's more like the ideas that drive a change in the world, and we've been driving that change for the last 20 years. So it's kind of nice in that
Was
sense.
kind of like the first comer, and funny enough, the testing pyramid and all the principles. I always reference from its beginnings, from where it started. Do you know the story where the name came from?
Yeah, I do.
For the ones that do not know, has to do a little with mercury poisoning.
Yeah.
Because on those days there was this company, front-end automation too much, and the creator was sick of it, right? Too much. I'm gonna cure your selenium, your mercury poisoning with selenium, which is an actual cure, right?
Yeah, it's an antidote.
Yeah. And there it started, and it has been kind of like the medicine, to call it in a way, for many people, community-wise, tool-wise. I love that you have that perspective. If I may say, the cheerfulness that you bring and how you talk about it, I can tell that it has a place in your heart.
It definitely does. The change in the world Selenium is driving is very close to my heart.
Oh, that's beautiful. So I don't don't want to take that much more time because I know someone is super excited and touch on some topics that Maaret is an artist on. So please go on.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, we all know that you're an expert in exploratory testing. Okay, you have written a lot of things, a lot of really interesting things. But right now we are in a more tech conference, right? Selenium, Appium. We all know that we can use Selenium and Appium for automation in many different ways. But how can we combine these two things? Okay, how can we leverage automation, Selenium and Appium, to do exploratory testing?
So I try to usually think of it as you create even a single script. It has probably some values that you're going to enter maybe in the user interface, and whatever change the values, you want to figure out what values work, what don't. That's actually when you take it to exploring. So you build your automation by exploring. When your script fails, which hopefully it does for good reasons, that's when you start to explore. It's kind of like, again, it's an invitation to go and explore more. So I don't think of it as a separate thing. I think of it as something that there's no manual and automated exploratory, which means that as long as you know how to operate these tools, they can really become kind of like power tools into your use and enable you to do the kind of exploration you wouldn't do without the tools.
Okay, but we always say that we want to democratize testing, and how can we make these kind of tools more close to the final user, to people who is not techie, right? How can we use automation and these scripts, but without having to code anything and so on to do exploratory testing? Because, for example, in my company, we want products and we want business people to do this kind of to make these tools closer to them. I don't know if you have some tips for this.
I feel like the so-called non-techies, they can learn Selenium one line at a time. Saying you want to click something is not very complicated, even in the the more lower level languages with Selenium. It's not complicated. I've actually done that. Plenty of business people check this one and take those steps. It's a growing path. Whereas if you add a layer on top of that language, this is what we often do. We have a visual programming language, or we have some kind of like a recorder that creates that visual programming language. Then you kind of lose some of the touch on the debugging side and figuring out what's wrong when things are wrong, and things are gonna be wrong. So in a sense, I'm more of a believer in the idea that we could teach so-called non-technical people a little bit of this programming world. It's not that complicated, and most of the stuff we do, which is quite a heavy lifting programming in the test automation world, it's still so specialized field of programming that it's a very, very small fraction of all the things programming that we could do.
Yeah, but I get it, and I totally agree. But to try to teach people on this, convince them to learn these kind of topics, but totally agree.
But it's already changed in the sense that those who didn't learn any of the automation stuff, companies ended up hiring those who did learn some of the automation stuff. And again, testing it's not taking so much time when you don't have to find so many problems. So exploratory testing, it's a lot easier when it's no low-hanging fruits, like no easy bugs to pick out. If you kind of you can use the application, and you can kind of have feedback that is more on a higher level, which is not even necessarily something you want to automate, then you can kind of think of if that feedback is valuable to you, you can have people do that without automation. You don't need to automate all of that.
Of course, yeah.
But it would be nice to kind of get the low-hanging fruit kind of collected away first, so that you don't have to face all of that. And again, it's not about testing, it's about fixing. We do know that a lot of the projects that at least I've lived with over the years, the problems we find in testing and we report in testing, they don't get fixed. They get locked somewhere, and then you're kind of avoiding the traps there.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like throwing it under the rug, and many are like, there's there. But I love the point that you're making. It's a job opportunity it's a threshold that I do agree is not the easiest. You need to throw a couple of lines of code to enable some Selenium automation, and yeah, you gonna have to understand a little bit. I think the biggest threshold that people are afraid of. Oh my God, I have to become a developer. No, just learn a few lines of code. Really, just you have to. Some of these parts that are, yeah, that's more important. But coding it, I think you can present it in a way that is like you don't have to become like a Python, a JavaScript expert, or call the options, and that's it. Validate, verify, do assertions. If you convince the people that those are the things, and pay attention to the bug that you detected, don't just put it under the rug and throw it on the on
Maybe,
your or whatever you're using, right?
and maybe AI is, yeah, maybe AI is going to help these kind of people to, well, do these kind of things, learn faster.
What do you think, Maaret? Because I have some opinions on that.
I'm skeptical, to be honest, but I don't know.
So again, learn faster, definitely. I like the idea that AI, it's already now, it's kind of like an external imagination.
Mhm.
When I talk about exploratory testing, I often think of it kind of like, the application is my external imagination. I look at it, I know where to click, I know what to do, I know how to combine things, and I'm more creative that way. That's how I figure out what's wrong in the first place. So exploratory testing and applications already work that way. When you bring in AI is actually, again, like an external imagination. You ask something, you get an answer. You either hate it or you love it. Well, sometimes you hate it. And actually, hate is kind of a powerful feeling in terms of you will create something better because you saw that. So again, it kind of like challenges you to, up the machine in some way, like one up the way that.
I love your perspective as well. For me, AI, it helps me. Sometimes overused it, but brainstorming, I think it's like the biggest thing. Like, hey, what things can we play around with this? Um, like in concept, in process wise, to call it in a way. It's awesome, as you say, like a bouncing board for
Yeah.
ideas. Like, give me 10 things that I could do for exploratory. Oh, maybe you haven't clicked on this corner.
Or like,
Okay.
for example, with the rag style things where you make your notes for the last couple of weeks, you have a particular structure, and then you feed that in within your context, and you say like, hey, this is what I would want to do. Like I'd want to know if I've missed something, kind of like give me an idea that I haven't yet done, or give me an idea that I keep repeating all the time. So again, like when you are curious and you have those questions, it's actually already very helpful to you.
It helps you and gives you like another other perspectives, because I think your question as well, if breached like the technical development gap, um, yes, I think it may make it easier for some people to produce stuff, but if they don't know, it's gonna be stuff what they produce with the AI. And if you don't know truly what is coming out, like as you were saying, it gave me 10 ideas. 7 of them are like, meh, I hate them, they're garbage, meh. But 3 ones are very good. 3 lines of code are really good from the AI, and the rest is garbage. If you don't know, I think that we may end up with lots of garbage generated by AI. I mean, yes, it will enable people, hopefully, to learn about how's the right thing. But if I want the message to be like, people don't think AI is gonna steal your job or make your work. It's gonna help it. But if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, yeah, right?
Well, again, creating more duplication into the code bases. Well, I can give you an example of what
Please,
happened.
please, please.
Um,
Real life.
we were creating a proof of concept on a particular platform product, and how to automate around that. And I had a colleague who was using AI to create tests first time in PyTest and Playwright in that particular case. So they asked questions from the tooling on kind of like how to do this, how to do that. And I was unfortunately very busy that month when the work was being done. And when I looked at that afterwards, it's like, well, we have all of these fixtures here. Why do we have these fixtures? I've never seen these kind of fixtures in these kind of projects before. Like lots of text. I ended up deleting all of it on the first day when I looked at it, because again, the AI tooling was giving proposals on how to re-implement PyTest plugin. So
Oh my God, how much
PyTest
of that was
playwright
copy
plugin.
pasted? And
Again, it was not copy pasted necessarily, it was generated, but again, creating things for the same purpose when we already actually have a community like plugin. That's why we are in an open source community right now here. We are supposed to reuse. So before we teach these tools to reuse rather than recreate, I don't think we're getting into a better state. We have just more to maintain, and the same problems accumulate over time.
it's a little like this conversation yesterday we were having a few that what is the purpose to create more automations or just to do good tests? Because if that is the aim, the point, you need efficient tests that go straight to what you are trying to do, not just like, hey, can you create me 10 more that we need?
Yeah.
Why? Times with AI and its rhythms. Why are you trying to do this? Is that part of the process, best practice? Because many times, like, yeah, I need 10 automations more and just do your.
I believe that people who can automate don't always know how to test. People who know how to test don't always know how to automate. And none of these two usually know how to collaborate. And we really know how to do all of these three. I've been interviewing recently a lot of people for tester positions, and I don't want to hire a tester who doesn't know how to test. So I've been using the To-Do app as kind of like a target. So let's see if we can find problems here. They'll like combine those two things. And I do very strongly feel that there is still, on the larger scale, there's a problem where people who know how to automate might not know how to test. And that's why I keep talking about this contemporary exploratory testing, that we really need to teach those two skills together.
Because it's on both sides that you're mentioning is a type of knowledge that for some reason do not intersect that much. This technical know-how with this QA know-how, like where should I click, where should I try, like that feeling that testers get, and like I don't know, don't do a nested loop on your automation because it will be bad and blah. To mix those, you're right. Very few people kind of really mix well with those areas of knowledge. If anyone listening really she's having a hard time ha- finding someone to hire, there's job opportunities, right? That's what you were saying. If you jump a little bit on that, don't be afraid of development, don't be afraid of code. If you're a tester, get into more coding. If you're a coder, get into more testing, and you have a job right now, right? The opportunities are better, right?
The opportunities are definitely better. Like everyone is looking for those people who could actually combine the two, because otherwise you will need two people.
And those two usually don't talk to each other, right?
Yeah,
You say,
and
right?
that's the collaboration part. Yes.
And so around the conference and with these topics, right? We have had some AI talks yesterday, the State of the Union news with Selenium. How do you feel of things right now? It's a kind of like recursive in the State of the Union, but the state of Selenium, the state of the conference. Have you noticed something that is outstanding? I know BiDi is kind of like making some noise here and there, but to you, what is kind of like the big thing?
I pay attention to like how it feels to build a community. To some degree, this to me it feels a little bit like it's a vendor conference for Selenium, and we could do even more for the community. There's some really good corners of community here, but they feel like corners. We're not connecting everyone necessarily always on those. So kind of like somehow, inviting people into the journey of the community. That's definitely one of the buzzes. On the things that I would use for my work, I personally think that maybe some of the stuff that we talked about in the keynote this morning on performance and kind of the metrics, remembering some of that stuff, that's something to use. Kind of, taking some of the ideas from Angie's talk yesterday. I would definitely do some of that. Again, I was more familiar with her work already earlier, so not necessarily new here. But most of the stuff that I get is kind of like from one-on-one conversations on what's testing and how do we take the skills and the community forward.
That's very interesting when you are mentioning on one side the communities, because yeah, communities on their corners, and I feel like these events kind of try to bring them together. We were talking earlier to Rosie from ministry. You are also helping communities. We had the Valencia testing conference here from Mexico QA Mind. So, and many of those did not know each other before. QA Evolution now collaborating and Señor Performo. So I like that. It feels like a boiling pot and adding all the ingredients. Let's see what comes out of this, right?
That would be great, yes.
It's I get a very good feeling of seeing all of these. Hey, you're a member of the community. You're a member of another community. Do you know each other? Talk to each other. Like, oh, you are. Oh my God! And they start to talk to each other, and I'm sure awesome things are gonna come out of this for the community, for the people listening. And so I got carried away. You had more questions, more things that.
Well, I do have a question because this is a question we make to all of our interviewers in the podcast, and it's I think for me it's a really difficult question to answer, but and the question is, what is quality for you? How would you define quality? Software quality, of course.
I think of it as aspects that delight people rather than disappoint them. So I think of it as feelings that are strong enough to cause actions. That's how I frame quality personally. If I hate something enough, I will leave the product. If I don't hate it enough, I will live with it and complain about it. That's also an action. So again, I'd love to have more products where I can actually feel positive emotions towards those products, and that's the journey that we're
No,
on.
it's important. It's good to have people complaining about you because they care about you. If they complain, they care about you, right?
They might not be given a chance to actually care. They just have to use it. It's not like we can choose all of the tools that we use, for example, for work or to take care of any of the day-to-day business that we have to do as people in particular countries. Like there's choices that other people have made for us. It's not like we can always walk away from those, but kind of like the frictionlessness experience where you don't have to use all of your energy in complaining, or at least you can optimize in not spending the time, even if you were supposed to do that on the tooling that doesn't work. That's a well, it's a behavior that shows up as quality. Like that's how I go
Okay,
for
it's
it.
nice. It's nice. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that was very thoughtful. I thought usually they say like, no, quality is just this, or yesterday there's no quality. There's a kind of like ephemeral concept that floats all over. I like yours. Right on spot. So Maaret, we're getting almost down to finishing this interview. Almost sad because we're having a very good time, very good conversation. But I would like to give you the opportunity, first of all, a few words for the audience, for the community. Again, everything's about the community that you would like to leave for posterity. Like if you could put a sign up in the streets, like this spectacular sign. Dun, dun,
Wow,
dun.
spectacular sign. Like I have kind of like first things that come to my mind are things where I quote people. Like for example, that writing is the best way to talk about things without being interrupted. So I would like to see people write a lot more and share through writing a lot more. But actually, I would like to correct that. Writing is not the best way. Talking in a conference from a stage where you don't get interrupted, that's the best way, because you actually get a lot of kind of people listening to you and then having conversations with you when you're done with kind of giving your first message. So my message probably would be on joining conferences and doing some talks here. I think the Selenium conference for next year is going to need some speakers as well.
So we're already promoting for the next conference. Awesome, Maaret. And almost last, where can people follow up with you, stay in touch, keep up with what you're doing, what you're producing, or ask for some keynote guidance if they aspire to?
I'm really crappy with my email, so don't send me email. Find me on LinkedIn. That's a much better way. And I welcome people to go into my DMs, so you can send me messages there. So just link up and send me messages. I'm happy to deal with that there. I write public notes on Mastodon. So kind of like, what I'm thinking through in testing, it's all usually almost all of it is publicly available on Mastodon. So
What's your handle?
I am Maaret
Uh-huh.
at Masto. So
Masto.
yes,
MS
mas.to.
Okay.
So again, that one is mine. And I have a blog. I usually post to Mastodon when I write a blog, but I've had it for quite some time. It's called Season Testers Crystal Ball, and
I
it's
like that.
visible-quality.blogspot.fi or whatever country you want to put in the end, because it's, again, Blogspot is
Yeah, depending on
multiple
where.
ones. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so there you have it. If you want to get in touch, at her on LinkedIn. I have a feeling there are not that many. Just look for the name here. You can see it on the screen appearing. Add her, send a note, send a message. And now to wrap up, I usually like to share with the victim in the interview a taste of Mexico. And I'm from Mexico. And someone is already
Uh-oh.
getting nervous. Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
panic. Don't
So-
panic.
I brought a little few candies.
Okay, candy is good. If it's chili, I don't do chili.
Well, there are
Kinda.
candies for
Oh.
children, and you know that children in Mexico eat some spicy stuff. It's not spicy. Some people told me like this is the least spicy. They are made out of tamarind. You can decline, of course. It's not like a
So,
compromise.
so do you want to see me eat this?
Yeah, so that the
Oh.
audience can see how does someone having a taste of Mexico look like. And
How lovely. How does
sometimes
this open?
I can help you. Yeah, they have
You
a
create complete,
small
too
trick.
complicated
The
wrappings.
usability of these wrappings is not very well tested. I have to agree.
No,
There you go.
I
You
think it's
hold a
well
little-
tested, but it's not well fixed. So
I'm not sure if they tested. Oh my God, she ate it. Okay, let's see. You gotta chew it. It's tamarind, sour, sweet. What do you think? Have you ever tried tamarind?
no, I haven't. I don't know what this tastes like, but you made me so scared that this is not bad. So
Okay,
I'm
okay.
positively surprised.
Okay, that's good. That's good. She's liking the Mexican taste.
I'm worried that there's like an aftertaste here. Like I'm still kind of processing.
Waiting for.
Yeah,
some-
yeah. So I thought this was good.
Great. Okay, she passed the test,
Okay.
the Mexican test. Awesome. You liked it.
Yeah, I did like it.
Okay, great, great, great. So out of, I think you're the fourth person trying it. Only one was like, oh my God, I cannot take it. So good. You liked it.
What could be like? Is this spicy?
Some people said it is.
I can't deal with chili at all, so I don't know what's wrong with me right now.
Okay, so you're used to it. That's good. That's good. Yeah, yeah. A few ones were like, oh my God, yeah, this is kind of hot.
Okay.
But well, there you have it. Maaret tried Mexican candies, survived, and she seems pleased. You're happy.
I'm happy.
Okay, excellent. So there you have it. This was one of the keynote speakers and shared a lot of her knowledge, the service she does for the community, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, Maaret. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having
Maaret.
me.
So this is Selenium Conference 2025 reporting from Valencia, Spain, and we will be reporting in a minute because we have more surprises, a few more streams today before we wrap up. So stay tuned. See you later, and adios or hasta luego.